I remember the clink of champagne before the scream. My scream stayed inside. His didn't. The ballroom froze when my father stood. White tablecloths. Crystal lights. My name stitched in gold on the napkins. He smiled like a verdict and said the words he'd been saving. About my mother. About my choices. About how I owed him everything. He turned my wedding into a lecture. A public correction. A reminder of who he believed owned me. I kept my face calm. I kissed my wife's knuckles. I let the music resume, and something inside me went quiet. It wasn't always war. Once, he taught me how to read balance sheets at the kitchen table. He said numbers don't lie, people do. He said loyalty is a debt. He said family comes first unless family disappoints you. When I was 16, he put a hotel ledger in my hands and told me to find the leak. I did. When I was 22, he let me pitch a renovation plan. He took the credit. When I proposed to the woman I loved, he smiled and said congratulations like it tasted wrong. The betrayal didn't arrive as a punch. It arrived as patterns. Canceled meetings. A lawyer CC'd for no reason. A property transferred into a trust I didn't recognize. The quiet way my name disappeared from documents I used to sign. I noticed the change in the elevators first. My access card still worked, but the cameras lingered. I noticed it in the silence of boardrooms where my ideas landed without echo. I noticed it when my father stopped calling and started summoning. The proof came in a message not meant for me. A forwarded email. A careless assistant. A phrase that burned. Remove him after the wedding, publicly. I didn't break. I breathed. I thanked the assistant. I deleted nothing. I stopped arguing. I stopped defending. I started counting. I traced the shell companies. I followed the debt. I reread contracts he had written when he was younger and crueler, back when arrogance made him sloppy. I remembered his voice at the kitchen table. Numbers don't lie. I found the clause he forgot. The one about performance bonds. The one about personal guarantees. The one that tethered his pride to a foundation I controlled. I moved quietly. I bought silence with patience. I hired a lawyer who listened more than he spoke. I shifted assets at night. I refinanced in daylight. I let my father think he was winning. Because men like him mistake quiet for weakness. The news broke on a Tuesday. My name, front page. A hotel empire born from a spin-off he didn't see coming. Investors applauding. Analysts impressed. A narrative that didn't include him. My phone buzzed before the market closed. Family dinner at 7 p.m., bring the check. He still thought I was a wallet. I ironed my shirt. I kissed my wife. I picked up the envelope. The restaurant was old money. Dark wood, soft light, the kind of place where secrets feel safe. He sat at the head of the table. He didn't stand when I arrived. He never did when he thought he owned the room. We ordered. He talked. He made jokes about weddings. About loyalty. About sons who forget where they came from. I listened. I counted the seconds between his sips. When the bill came, he slid it toward me like a crown. Family, he said. I placed the envelope on the table. He frowned. He opened it. The paper didn't shake. His hands did. Eviction notice. 30 days. Personal guarantee triggered. Assets frozen. Trust breached. Board vote scheduled. He looked up at me like the room had tilted. You can't, he said. I could. I did. I had. I told him about the clause. About the bonds. About the debt he moved to look smart, and the signature he used to feel powerful. I told him about the cameras in the elevators. About the assistant. About the email. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't smile. I watched him understand. He tried to bargain. He tried to threaten. He tried to remind me of blood. I reminded him of ink. The waiter returned. I paid. I stood. I learned from you, I said. Numbers don't lie. I walked out before dessert. The next weeks were clean, efficient, lawyers spoke. Boards voted. Locks changed. He moved out of offices with his name still on the door. He called. I didn't answer. He texted apologies shaped like excuses. I archived them. At night, I replayed the wedding. The way my wife's hand tightened in mine. The way I chose stillness. I realized revenge isn't loud. It's accurate. The hotels flourished. Staff smiled differently. Investors trusted the calm. I hired people my father never would. I promoted loyalty without debt. On the 30th day, I drove past the old building. Boxes by the curb. His reflection in the glass. Smaller. Human. I felt relief, not joy. Relief is better. Relief lasts. Family, I learned, is not a leash. Respect is not inherited. And silence, when used well, can change the skyline. I didn't ruin his life. I returned it to the terms he wrote.